Hi, this is John Fulcher for my informative speech assignment. Here's my audience, real quick. There we go. Here are my note cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the last one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So there's a wide variety of games you can play with just a deck of playing cards. I play cards a lot, big fan. One of my favorite ones is called Egyptian Rat Slap. It's usually abbreviated to ERS. Played it a lot in Boy Scouts and just on my own. I've researched it a little bit for this assignment. I think it's a really fun game to play with your friends. You only need a deck of cards, and it's really interesting, really in-depth, very fun game to learn. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, talk a little bit about the history, some of the basic rules, and some of the basic strategies that go with the game. So here we go. So the origin of the game from academickids.com cited it as coming up around the 1970s, and it was a combination of a British game called Beggar My Neighbor and similar games like Slapjack, because there's a big slapping component to ERS. So I'll get to that though. And there's a bunch of different names for it. Like catsatcards.com had them listed as Egyptian Rat Screw, Egyptian Rat Trap, Egyptian War, Egyptian Rat Race, but I call it Egyptian Rat Slap. That's what I learned. And it's just ERS, most of them. Just pretty similar, just different names. So there's a lot of rules, a lot of variations on the game, really. A lot of different rules, but the beginning, the general setup's the same. Like cardgameinfo.com had it explained well. At the beginning, you can play with about 2 to 8 players effectively, and they all circle up, just any shape where everyone can reach the center of a playing area the best, whether it be like table or you're sitting on the ground. And the deck of cards is dealt out face down evenly to all the players, and whoever's to the left of the dealer will start. They'll have the deck face down, they'll take the top card and they'll flip it over and lay it in the center, and then the next player after them will take their card and flip it, and it goes around. And the object of the game is to collect all the cards, the whole deck, and have it, eliminate all the other players. So there's a couple different ways where you can get the pile and end up getting all the cards. So one of them is by playing a face card. If you play a face card, then the player after you has a certain number of chances to play their own face card, and if they don't manage to, then whoever played the face card gets the pile. So the bicyclecards.com had the face cards listed. It goes through jack to ace. Jack, if you play jack, the next player only has 1 chance to get a face card, and if they don't, then you get the pile. And then queen is 2, king is 3, ace is 4 chances. And if they do manage to play a face card, then the player after them has to do the same thing. They have to play their face card, and if they don't, then whoever plays the most recent face card gets the pile. And yeah, so the other way to get cards, the pile, is slapping, which is the biggest mechanic in ERS. So if a certain pattern of cards is played in the pile, players will slap the pile, and whoever's the first slap gets the pile, and they add it to the bottom of their deck, and they restart playing in the middle. So GameRules.com had a couple of the general, basic, most common patterns that you'll see played, which is double, which is, if someone plays a 4 and the next person plays a 4, that's a double. You slap it, you get the pile. Sandwich is like a double, but with a card in the middle, like a 4-3-4 sandwich. Top bottom is when the top card of the deck and the bottom card of the deck are the same, like a 5, 10, 5, or 5, 10, jack, queen, and another 5, top bottom, you slap that. And staircase is 4 cards in ascending order, like 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a staircase, you slap it. Just a couple common patterns. There's a couple more big, complex ones that I don't really have time to get into, but those are some common ones that you'll see played most often. So a couple of the rules in the game can really be used to your own advantage using good strategy. Like one of the most important skills you can learn is card counting, which is how many cards you have and where one card is, so you know how many cards it is until you get that specific card that you want. So some players use that in combination with the rule of if you slap the deck when it's not a valid slap pattern, you have to burn a card, which is to take the card off the top of your deck and add it to the bottom of the pile. So some players will intentionally burn cards so that they can get to a card that they want and they know it's a slap or they know it's a face card, and they do that. So since slapping is so important, what you want to do is usually have your offhand ready to slap, just so you can get in there. But most games will have those, like about area above the deck, like that big. It's called the slap box that you can't have your hand in because that's just kind of cheating. So even if you're out of cards and the game's still going, you can actually get back in if you slap a slap on the pile while you're out of cards and no one else gets it. You can get the pile and you're back in the game. But if you slap when it's not a valid slap pattern and you're out of cards, you usually have 3 chances, and then after the third one you're out and you can't slap back in anymore. And sometimes slaps are contested, like if 2 players slap, the same card and their hands are kind of even. So what they'll usually do is they give it to the player who has the most of their hand on the card. So you don't want to tap the card, you really want to get on there and slap it. So, very interesting game, very complex when you get into it. So I hope I sparked a little bit of an interest in it. I've talked a little bit about the history, a couple of the basic rules, and some little strategies, little interesting bits of the game. So I think it's a really fun game. I wish I could have explained more, but there's a time limit, but there's so many interesting rules, and it's just really fun to play. I would recommend that you look it up on your own, play with your friends. I think it's really fun, really interesting. Good game, yeah. That's it.